Hey everyone, welcome to Science-Based Fitness. My name's Adam. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're discussing weight loss, and not just weight loss, but specifically fat mass loss. And I'm going to give you 3 tips that I don't hear talked about as commonly. So hopefully these are something new for you. You can learn something from this video, and you can hit that like button if you find value in this video. So with that being said, let's get right into this. So we have Chloe joining us here today. She's a good girl. It's a little bit windy outside, so it's a little bit scary. So our first tip is going to be sleep. And sleep gets overlooked a lot, and there's research into this topic. In a study, 2 groups were able to lose the equal amount of weight while being in a calorie deficit. One group slept 8.5 hours a night, the other group slept 5.5 hours a night. Even though the groups lost the same amount of weight, the group getting only 5 hours of sleep lost only 20% fat, whereas the group getting 8 hours of sleep lost roughly 50% fat. Now, it is expected that you will lose some amount of muscle mass if you're in a large enough calorie deficit, but specifically this shows that sleep can really have an impact on your ability to lose fat mass. And this next tip is more water consumption. Now, the idea behind increasing your water consumption is that it's going to help you cut out sugary beverages, things like sodas, sugary coffees, whatever it may be that's your weakness. But what if I told you there's actual research into this topic that shows that having the appropriate hydration status can help with fat mass loss? Now, I recently did a full-length video on this, so I won't dive too deep into it. If you want, I'll link that video at the end of this one. But ideally, our adipocytes or our fat cells have triglycerides in them, and those triglycerides can be broken down into usable energy. But unfortunately, when we're dehydrated, our body is more likely or more prone to holding on and creating more triglycerides instead of utilizing them. So theoretically, we could track this back to the idea of as long as we're appropriately hydrated, then we'll have a better ability to utilize that stored fat as energy. Along with additional research on this topic showing when individuals are consuming roughly 500 milliliters of water about a half hour before their main meals, they actually feel more full and are less likely to overconsume. So the recommendations are all over the board on what the appropriate hydration status is. This is going to be different for everyone based on your size and how much you sweat, the environment you're living in. Minimum 6 cups a day. Maximum, it could be 10, it could be 11, it could be 12, but a minimum of 6, which would be 3 water bottles throughout the day. So make sure you stay hydrated because it can help with fat loss. All right, and lastly here we have steady state cardio, things like walking, biking, anything that doesn't get the heart rate too high can be an effective strategy at losing specifically fat mass. When we study things like the respiratory exchange ratio, we can see that higher intensity exercises like sprinting or jogging utilize a lot more carbohydrates as the main substrate for energy. Things like walking, things like biking, maybe even hiking, depending how intense it can get, are effective ways to utilize larger amounts of fat as your main substrate for energy. Now, there is an important distinction that this doesn't make this form of cardio more effective for overall weight loss, but it can be more effective for targeting fat specifically. If you guys want more information on how walking could be an effective fat loss strategy, click this video right down here where I explain more of the science on this topic. Or check out this video up here talking about water consumption and diving into the science a little bit more. If you guys found value, hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.